Today I'm drawing Goku from Dragon Ball Z in my sketchbook. I've been practicing anime drawing every day to improve my anatomy, proportions, and line work. Goku is a great character to study because his design has strong shapes and very recognizable features. So yeah, in this video I'll walk through my sketch process while I draw him. I start by sketching the basic head shape and placing the eye line, eyebrows and ears into eyes. Ears into the eyebrow placement, some of the hair placement between the ear and the eyebrow, leading into the eyes. Doing some of the stuff like on the lower end below that, like the neck, into the shoulders, and also maybe some of the upper hair as well. So I can kind of draw it across in like a typewriter type of effect, where I'm making sure, like I was saying in the prior video, the proportions, I can line up all the proportions across um, in every single lane possible. But yeah, so I start by sketching the basic head shape and placing the eye line. This helps keep the face balanced and symmetrical. Once the eye line is in place, I can add the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the mouth with better accuracy. Getting the facial structure right early makes the rest of the drawing much easier, especially if you do it in pen, which that's there's not really a reason to do that. I just happen to do stuff like that. It's me trying to get good at it. Maybe it's not the only way someone could get good at something. That's just something I do. Next, I focus on the eyes and the eyebrows. Uh, Goku often has a determined expression, so I angle the eyes slightly and give the eyebrows a stronger shape. Once the eyes are correct, the character really starts to come to life. Doing some of the lining up everything proportion wise, like the folds in the clothing, kind of like I was saying before. And yeah, so after finishing the face, I start drawing the hair. His hairstyle is made up of large spikes that radiate around the head. Instead of drawing random spikes, I imagine the hair growing out from the skull. This helps keep the hair balanced and recognizable. But yeah, all the little proportion things being lined up. And sometimes it's like, oh, I could have still spent more time on the upper gi or the neck or the face, but I'm looking at like, oh, like this fold in the piece of cloth. Let's say I finished the lower end of the gi right above the belt, and I'm saying, I could at least start drawing the line for the belt, and oh, like, because I've drawn the line for the belt, where does this fold in the belt line up with a crease in his in the lower part of his lower gi right before the belt starts? And I just end up getting, if anything, I could even say carried away and just drawing the rest of that, right? Or I could say, instead of trying to address drawing that part later, I just address it there. Like, oh, I'm already in this area. What are other things that I notice are lining up? Like in the arm, where did the bicep muscle line up with folds in the upper gi and the lower gi in the belt? Um, how, where was his bicep in relation to his belt? And like I was saying, the upper and lower gi and the symbol, or the circle that the symbol would go inside, or the character, that's what they call it, right? The character would go inside that circle, and his sleeves, drawing the shading lines around the creases, if there was shading there. And yeah, so like, and I am already in the body area, but I'll say, so next I move down to the body from the head. Um, Goku has broad shoulders and a strong upper body, so I emphasize those shapes in the sketch. Then I add the clothing folds and belt to show how fabric wraps around the torso. And what are ways people can do that? I've seen some very good systems. If somebody was to completely, with no reference, like just wing how clothing folds around the body, there's people who use certain ideas like, I'm probably completely misquoting it because I had seen them a while ago, but they'll practice maybe with drills, or have this idea that if the clothing is tugging on someone's limb, like their arm or their leg, or the wind's blowing in this direction, so like what happens is the clothing is tugging in a certain direction, they draw like specific shapes, and then draw the clothing around those shapes, and then those shapes would structure the folds and how the clothing would sit on the limb. So they would do stuff like that, or a person could just imagine it and just get better at, I guess, imagining or looking at their own clothes. If they move their arm like this, how, they're not going to see the same creases because it's a different piece of clothing than what the character is wearing, but you can get kind of like an idea, and that can just become more realistic over time, right? um Next point I could say is, once the structure is complete, I go back over the important lines to make sure the drawing is clear. Reinforcing the main lines helps the characters stand out and makes the sketch easier to read. And that's my sketch of Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I'm continuing to practice anime drawing every day so I can improve my anatomy and line work. Let me know what anime character I should draw next, and thank you so much for watching.